Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Sunday night chat. I appreciate you streaming in tonight, and it is my joy to always come into your homes, your cars, or workplaces, wherever you are. So I want you to go ahead and like this and share it so that other people can join in on our conversation tonight. And if you're not following me on all social platforms, I don't know why, but I want to make sure that you follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, and all those things. And I have a new single that just came out. It's called See It. And if there's any time you need to really be encouraged, it's a great time to be encouraged right now. So download that, get my children's book, so that you can stay connected to all content that is called MJR. So I want to make sure that you stay connected with that. Tonight, I have a very special guest that I'm chatting with. A lot of the guests that I will be bringing in, many of them don't need any introduction at all because they're doing such phenomenal things. And most of them are really, really close friends of mine. And this one tonight is a close friend of mine as well. Angela Birchett. I've known her since 1998. When I was 18 years old and a freshman at Kentucky State University. When I met her, I most lovingly called her Dorinda because she reminded me of the Clark sister, Dorinda Clark Cole. What is interesting about that is even though I called her that for years, little did either of us know that she would now be premiering as one of the Clark sisters on the new Lifetime movie that's going to be premiering. So I don't know which one of us was a prophet back in those days, but I want to talk to her tonight. I got an opportunity to talk to her recently, and I want to share that conversation with you. So go ahead and share this so that you don't miss anything. So she can talk about what her life was like growing up in Detroit. She now lives in New York. She's been in Hairspray, in the Broadway musical Hairspray. She's been in Color Purple. She's done so many different things, and we're going to have a great conversation tonight. So I don't want you to miss it. So go ahead, get a cup of tea, relax, lean back, share so that you can join in on tonight's Sunday night chat with Angela Birchett. All right, tonight, everybody that is connected, I want to thank you for connecting tonight. I am with one of my greatest friends, who I will introduce to you, but she doesn't really need an introduction because I don't know what she has not done as it relates to the world of theater, music, acting, all these different things. But tonight, I would like to welcome my friend, Angela Birchett. Welcome, Angie.
Hey, Mario.
I am so glad that you are here. So it's really difficult, as I was telling you before, it's really difficult for me to start somewhere because there's so many different places that I could start. But I want to go all the way back to the early 1900s, 1998, when we first met. When I was wearing clothes that were too big and playing music that was too fast. Glory, isn't he wonderful to my soul? So you came from Detroit, Michigan, Renaissance High School, Nina
That's right.
Scott, and
Yep.
we met in concert choir under the great direction of Dr. Carl Henry Smith.
That's right. That's right.
So how did Kentucky State define you? Well, even before Kentucky State, before we get there, just even with the Renaissance High School, Detroit, which there is this myth that everybody from Detroit can sing, and it is not true. I've met many people who have destroyed that myth. So, what has your journey from there to Kentucky State? How did that even happen?
Well, I was. It's funny how hindsight is 2020. Because originally, when I was preparing to go to high school, I didn't even want to go to where I ended up going. In Detroit, there are, I don't know if it's the same process now, but when back in the Stone Age, when I was entering high school, there were they were called schools of choice, and my high school was one of them. There's three of them, and the one that I went to was actually, I didn't even want to be considered for it, but God knows the end from the beginning. So I tested and got into that school, which of the three is considered the highest in academia. Like my classmates I graduated with are neurosurgeons and work for NASA and you know that kind of thing. Music, what? nobody, really did that. But it was there that I met Nina Scott, who had already established such a strong professional, like professional grade music department. So I kind of two worlds collided, because prior to high school, from as early as I can remember, um, I was singing in choirs, I was directing choirs, I sang with my sisters. So this was kind of like just another layer of musicality and musicianship. And little did I know, how much of an impact both my time at Renaissance with Nina Scott and on to Kentucky State would shape who I am today and get me right to where I am now. But yeah, I studied music and choral singing, and then got to college and was a voice major and an education major. And back then, music scholarships were a big deal. So a lot of why I was able to go to Kentucky State was because Dr. Smith had seen me with the choir at Renaissance, and I got a scholarship. And yeah, and I just kind of went on from there and studied. And while matriculating, I discovered, which is so weird, because, and you know what it is? This is the divide in generations, because I didn't know anything about musical theater until halfway through college, because the internet and social media and all that was not big then. So had I been born later, maybe Kentucky State, I may have never gone there, because I wanted to study musical theater, and we didn't, we had some things, but not to the level of what I had discovered. But I tell people all the time when I do talkbacks for Broadway theater tours and stuff, that you don't have to go the conventional route. I studied something related, but I didn't study theater in school. Like every bit of training that I've had as an actor has been in the field, in shows. My colleagues are my class. My directors are my class. The producers are my class.
Well, I want to talk before you go on. There's a few things that jump out, and even though we know that, for those of you who do not know, why you don't know, I don't know. But there's a movie that is coming out, the Clark sisters.
Tiny thing.
Yeah, that is coming out, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. But I wanted to know, before we even get to the Clark sisters and going back to Detroit and how you went to theater and stuff. Your sisters, you sang with your sisters. Um, Wonderful singers. And then you went to sing in a girl group in Kentucky State University.
Which started in high school. It was not a new thing at K-State.
And it kept going.
Already, yeah.
And to date, I say it all the time. I'm not ashamed to say it. To date, I have still not heard any girl group that has even can light a candle to the stuff and the arrangements of what you all used to sing. But I digress. But I believe that. But how do you think even though theater wasn't something that you were looking into, but even collabing and being able to, how did you learn how to gel together? Your sisters, that was maybe a natural family dynamic. But even with another thing, how did that even work? Because that was even looking back, shaping what you're doing even now, to see how all this stuff pieces together.
Yeah. Well, I only have sisters, so there's only so much you can do with three parts, and really two a lot of the times, because somebody's got to lead it. So when I met ladies who are, just about all of them, we're all still sisters and friends to this day. But when I met them, Lori Hicks, Lori Holland, Yolanda, I don't know what is it, Green? It's not Green anymore. Davidson. Yes. I have to, lots of life has been lived in these last several years.
Yes.
But when I met these ladies, Kisma Jordan, she's also not Jordan anymore. She's married.
Yes. Hunter.
Ajane Gaylord. Yes. Gosh, there's so many things that have happened.
You sound like in church. I don't want a name call.
I know, and then name everybody. But there's a difference between the this natural God-given familial ability and I don't rank them or anything like that. They both experiences built who I am now. But there was just something about bringing, I mean, depending on what year we're talking about, 4 to 5 people together, with a not a family blend, not the same, experiences in life. Even church, like we all didn't come out of church. Some of us found the Lord in the group, um, and so it grew me in a different way because it these are chosen family now, and not just as friends and in friendships, but as musicians, and learning from people who, I come from a family where I was the oldest, and you would assume, oh, you're the one who has done the most or whatever. But now I'm with a group of girls who has a myriad of experiences and musician levels of musicianship and expertise, and all of us just figuring out how to make it all come together to build a sound. And it definitely has taught me as a woman, as a performer, as a believer, nuance and layers and forgiveness and grace and uh, appreciating people for where they are, and people and a lot receiving grace and receiving forgiveness, and being able to say, I can glean from you, I can learn from you. And some of the skills I take to this day, it can be as a singer, as an actor, as a musician, whatever, came right from working with these girls and us just, staying up all night in the dorms, rehearsing and learning like the most meticulous music. And I mean, we did them all: Take Six, the Clark Sisters, the Pace Sisters, all type of jazz groups, and it truly, I, there are so many things that I learned, uh, and grew from being with these girls that helped shape where I am today.
So, taking a turn from now, we're heading into the Clark sisters getting ready to premiere.
Yeah.
You didn't have a straight shot from church girl all the way to the screen.
Right.
So you went, and I won't say you detoured, and I won't even say you backslid. I won't say you did that. No,
I was waiting. I knew it was coming.
no, I'm not saying. But how did that? Because as I and many of us were shaped to believe, many of our trajectory of our life was just the church,
Right.
just that building. You were going to be a great choir or something. You were going to have a great gospel album. You were going to come out, and the choir
Right.
was going to be in the background, and the pastor was going to endorse you, and all that type of stuff. But it didn't happen like that for
Right.
you. Even though you started in the church, you haven't left the church, any of that type of stuff, or
Right.
left the faith. But how did that impact any of your belief, or impact your life, or impact your family dynamics when you started going the opposite direction of the conventions and started going to the club to sing
Yes.
or whatever? How
Well,
did that go?
I will say, number one, I I choose my words wisely because I don't want anyone to be offended.
Mm.
Um, but it's my truth. Um, I was fortunate to have parents that are believers that also felt like there's more to music than just the church. There's more to music than gospel music. Um, and my father was and is a band leader, musician of any genre of music, probably gospel being his last one. Um, I came from stock that said, follow your dreams. You know who you are and whose you are. Don't ever forget that, but don't let the walls of the church confine you
Yes.
or make you think that, there's not ministry outside of it, because it's actually the opposite.
So
But
would you say that your family dynamic is what kept you strong when? Because I mean, you haven't said I don't know, but I can imagine that it still wasn't an easy route or
in
decision.
terms of support, it was.
Good.
It actually was easy. I mean, I'm not going to name him, but my pastor at the time, and he wasn't mean about it or anything, but he wasn't. super excited about me, you know, pursuing a Broadway career, moving to New York, leaving Detroit, leaving my church. Um, but he covered me and I went on, you know. So uh, I definitely had the blessing of support that most people that both transition out of the gospel world and just to moving to New York and pursuing a career in this crazy city, I had that. I didn't have to fight for that, you know. And it certainly has been something that has grounded me and kept me lifted when there's been times that, you know, slow or, you know, things just I wouldn't understand. And, you know, I've been in this a long time, been in New York 15 years. And I got here.
Has it been that long?
It's been 15 years, 14 and some change.
Has it been hard to navigate what started out as a new world for you in the beginning?
You know, it's hard to gauge that now because it's been so long. But what I will say is that I don't have the story that a lot of people had, that they came here with literally nothing, like no one, you know. I didn't have that. I had people already here that were like, hey, just bring yourself, bring your clothes. You can crash with us. We'll connect you to the right people, you know. So I can't say that I had, my starting was rough. I mean, it's tough in that, you know, New York City is New York City, you know, and it's even now when I think about it, it's like, yeah, whatever. But I've been here for a long time, and I've hit the really rough times and come back from those multiple times. So it's just a different thing for me now. But like I was saying, I didn't struggle with like the support or feeling like shame or guilt or anything like that because I was pursuing a career that wasn't in the church or that it wasn't in the gospel genre. And it's been very unique with this situation with the Clark Sisters movie because, you know, two of my castmates, like literally they come from the church. Their careers have been almost exclusively, you know, the gospel industry, the church world. Like that's their bread and butter. That's where their families come from. That's who knows them, you know. And so
well, before we get to this movie, we're going to because I want to walk up. I want to slow walk into the movie. It's like talk about the daggone movie, but listen.
We don't care about her. Talk about the movie.
Before we get there, this is important because I want y'all to know that I want all of y'all to know the entire. We can't talk forever, but just you know some of the background of how she got to this place, because some of y'all unfortunately are just now getting to know the Angie that many of us have known for many years, and just for me, the jewel that you've been for behind the scenes for a long time, that people are just now like, have you heard Angela Birchett? I'm like, child, please, you know. So, but what I wanted to say as we get to this movie, when I first met you, in Kentucky State, my name for you was
Dorinda, little Dorinda.
Forever, I have called her Dorinda. I believe she is Dorinda's twin vocally. So when I found out about this movie, I said, I know who you got to play. And she's not playing Dorinda, but you are playing Jackie. So you're still in the family. You still
right.
You know, but what was that like? I mean, first of all, going back to childhood, your growing up, you've been around them all your life, you know, indirectly or directly. And now for full circle, now you're coming and actually playing them and being from the hometown, you know, all these different things that are happening. How was that, you know, when you got wind of it, you know, about the movie? How did you get tapped for that? All these different things. Now, people, let's start.
A Lifetime movie event.
We don't do easy in this house.
Praise him in the morning.
We do excellent.
Our album is number 20 on the chart. Oh my God.
We gonna be famous.
You want them to be the Jackson 5?
They better than the Jackson 5. 1, 2, 3, and I want you to feel what you sing. Let me hear that. All we ever did was what she wanted us to do. We won't play for mama forever. I'm gonna be 80 years old with no teeth. Come on, what you want me to play for you, mama?
Based on a true story
You didn't just sell songs. You sold your sister's future.
of the best-selling gospel group.
God's plan is for y'all sisters to stay together. No, mama. It's your plan.
You're not gonna stay in this house acting like that to me.
From executive producers Latifah, Mary J. Blige, and Missy
We
Elliott.
got nominated for a Grammy.
The Clark Sisters, First Ladies of Gospel.
Did you doubt it?
Premieres Saturday, April 11th at 8 on Lifetime.
Okay. All right, folks, here we go. So originally I was on the road touring a show when I caught wind of this project. And when you an old lady like me, you've been in the business this much time, you know folks. So, my phone rings every now and then when things come up that people want me to know about that are in the know. So, so I, caught wind through the grapevine that this project was happening. And, it's weird when you're already in a show, your mind is just, your world, your life, your mind is all into that show. So I was thinking, oh, I'm on the road. When am I, I was excited, but I was like, what's happening? When are the auditions? How am I going to get back to New York? Do I need to go to LA? Blah, blah, blah. So as things kind of unraveled and unfolded, it went out that the auditions for this were going to all be, to my knowledge, were all going to be on tape, which is not a new thing, especially for television. Lots of shows just have people submit self-tapes. And, so I did that by this point because, stuff people don't, like we shot this movie, we wrapped this movie in February of last year. So while this is all like, to everybody, like this is so old news. Like I started auditioning the fall of 2018 for this. So much time passes and so much happens that people don't, realize the timeline of this. But by the time that this was happening, I was already back home, off tour, wrapping up the end of another run of the same show and had to prepare. So I hired a coach and the guy who's going to shoot my self-tape. So originally, they were interested in me for Twinkie. So I was like, okay. Which even to this day, with all the coverage, people are like, oh, I can't wait, Twinkie. And I'm like, I'm playing Jackie. I'm not playing Twinkie. I've had to correct several people. So, but I went on tape and I was very pleased with it. And so at this point now, my manager is involved and, blah, 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 blah. And so submit the tape, don't hear anything other than your tape was great. We'll be in touch if we're interested. And like weeks go by, I don't hear anything. And I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to be in this movie. Like I have to. So time passes and I get a call from my manager saying the director, who is a Black woman, Christine Swanson, from Detroit, wants to have a FaceTime call with you. And I'm like, okay. So she calls and she just gives me a little bit about her vision of the movie. And I'm getting word from other people that if you get a call from the director, that means you're definitely like, you're in their final group of girls they're looking at. So I didn't know what to expect. And then she hits me with, so yeah, we really like your tape, but I think we want to take a look at you for Denise. So I'm like, okay. Because at this point I'm like, okay, maybe Twinkie's off the table. Don't know, but we're in the mix. We're in. So, So my manager emails me the sides, which for those people that don't know, Little Theater 101, sides are basically scenes or little clips of a script that they send you to use for the audition. So when I got the email, it was for Denise and Jackie. I was like, ugh. Because now I'm thinking, I've got to go back and re-prepare because Twinkie is completely different than Jackie, which is completely different from Denise. So I have to go and do my research and all of that. So I'll wrap it up. I put it all on tape, send it in, and I'm just, now all I can do is pray and trust God. And weeks go by, and all I keep getting is, you're still in the mix, you're still in the mix, you're still in the mix. But no answers, no which sister. Is Twinkie off the table? Is it still on the table? What's going on? And then I finally get the call about 2 weeks before Christmas of 2018. They would like to offer you the role of Jackie Clark Chisholm. So of course I'm like boohoo crying, because I'm like, one, and this is something I'm still working through, that when you establish yourself as one thing in the business, sometimes that's all people can see you as.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a kind of a double-sided thing, because I was thinking, on one hand, this is awesome, I'm getting to do this, but I'm playing a sister that don't sing out front.
Yeah.
But then my other side of me started twirling around and saying, okay, this is your opportunity for people to see you do something other than sing. People know you sing. And if they don't know you sing, they'll find out eventually. But this is what you've been praying for. You want people to take you seriously as something more than just a singer. And I can't speak for other areas of the industry, but I know in theater, it's very hard to break out of a type or a certain look once you've started getting hired as that, and so all things considered, Jackie was the perfect sister for me to play. As I sat down with Jackie and we talked and she shared and just had me laughing, and just and my research really like stopped and said, okay, take off everything you know about them and your love for them, and just approach it like you would as an actor researching a person who's still alive, that you can get information about and research on the internet. And that's literally what I did. I wanted to what's the right word? I wanted to personify the reality that without Jackie, there would be no Clark sisters. Yeah. And as I talked to her and she was willing to be open with me, and this is for everybody who's watching too, Jackie knows when people be talking about her and all the jokes and all the things. She knows. People don't think that I don't know, that they make jokes and say I'm the one that can't sing. And she laughed herself, but there was a layer of sadness that from human to human that I felt as we talked about. She joked, but it was just kind of what she's done over the years to go on with life, and as I got to know her and know her story and know how the other sisters feel about her, it really reshaped that for me. And so it was an honor to give her voice, because that was my main objective as an actor. Yeah. Give Jackie the voice that was always there, but just people didn't notice.
So as many of us are going to get an opportunity to look into the window of a little small window, really, because you can't really, in an hour and a half, 2 hour, whatever long movie, you can't encapsulate whatever the whole, you can't. I just made up all those words I just said. But anyhow,
I knew what you meant.
You just can't. You can't do it. You try. But what will the world see and begin to appreciate beyond? Because we're going to see a part of their mother that some people might have not have seen. Maybe their father. I don't know what all dynamics, but what will we see that will cause us to appreciate them or understand them more? That you can say without giving us different things, but what do you feel people will walk away saying about the show?
I think the thing people will walk away from is what I walked away from it with, and it's that, and it's not just in the music industry or the church or church ministry. It's everywhere. Celebrity or just people that we revere, that we respect, that we put on a pedestal. People are human with human challenges, family issues, personal confidence, security, all those things. And I think just like many of other people in our, who we put on a pedestal, I think we've had this view of them of, they saints, they sanctified, they live for the Lord, they the Clark sisters, they're famous, and there's so much that we never got to see. And we won't even get to see a whole lot of it in the movie. We'll see a nice bit, but there's so much that they had to push through and still be a unit, still present to the world this family of sisters that operate musically from a place of excellence, excellence in ministry, excellence in being a woman and being a woman of God that is, you know, doing what she's supposed to do. And I think it was humbling for me to see that and hear that and understand it, both as I told her story, but also as I heard her tell me her story. And I think that people are going to walk away feeling like, you know, the things I go through as a mother, a wife, a minister of music, a pastor, a bishop, whatever a woman's place is in their world, that I'm not the only one. That just because you saved and the hand of the Lord is on you and on your family, that don't mean you don't go through the same stuff and you want to give up, you want to quit, you want to end it, you want to, you know, ball up in a ball and just not get out of bed. It happens to the best of us. And I think they are appreciative that over the years, their fans and, you know, people in ministry and in the church and outside of that still have supported them and supported their ministry, and both as individuals and as a group. And they're still working through things. You know, they're all alive and well, and they're all still working through sister things, family things, processing still after all these years that their mother, their helm, the person where this came from is gone, and they've had to kind of pick up the pieces and stay cohesive. As you'll see in the film, Maddie's number one thing was, y'all got to stay together. It don't matter what happens, who, when, where. God wants y'all together. He wants y'all to, if y'all gonna do anything, he wants you to do it for him and do it together. And we all know they're still, you know, fighting to be one. They've got a sister who's still out on the outskirts, and you know, they still continue to press through in their families, their ministries, their artistry. And I think the viewing audience is going to walk away with a humbled, renewed respect and healthy admiration for these legendary, iconic women that have influenced people from all walks of life and all genres of music.
Yeah. Well, you have been in 3, or there might be more that I know of, sister groups, and now as far as film, but you are very much a solo artist.
Yes.
And not just artists as far as music or theater is concerned, but even just on your own. So where do you see, now that you have gotten to this place and this platform, do you envision or see what might be next? I'm sure this won't be the last movie or last film, but do you see anything else that's coming, or where do you envision next being?
Well, you know, this is something that actors and people in entertainment, you know, especially when you're, you know, past a certain age, certainly not old by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, this society and world we live in now is just what is the newest, youngest thing. I'm sure generations past us felt the same way about us, you know, feel that same way about us. So I'm always reflecting and trying to figure it out. And I think we do ourselves a disservice when we try to hit marks. I think it's about the journey. I know that sounds cliche, but it really is. You know, living in New York, I've done things as a performer that I didn't even know I was good at. I didn't even know like I knew what to do. And so I'm definitely looking to explore and expand those things more. One of the things, actually, a person on Instagram tonight, one of the fans who you know reaches out, and I'm one of those people that I talk to everybody, so that ain't changed. But she said to me, actually tonight, she said to me, you know, I have to be honest with you, I was really watching the movie for Kiera and Raven because Karen and Denise are my favorite Clark sisters. But and I was on somebody's live tonight, and I sang and stuff, and you know, she watched and several people watched. And she was like, I didn't know you were a singer. I didn't know it. And now I'm excited to see you even more because what a voice you have. And so it's humbling when you have people who genuinely, literally don't know that you sing at all, especially when you're in a film where the woman I portray is not one that people are, she's not the first person on a lot of people's list that they're going to be looking at in the film. So it's been, along with how social media and how the internet is such an integral part of our lives as entertainers, that I've been very diligent about, make sure you document when you're doing stuff. Don't just go do concerts and shows and don't get footage, because there's a whole demographic of people who, and it's not, I don't say this in like a haughty way, but like they don't know you. Kiara, Christina, even Shalea and Raven, they have built-in demographics because they already either have much bigger names than I do, period, or like Kiara and Christina, this is their world. This is, people already know them because they're gospel recording artists. Not to mention Kiara, this is her family. So I have the work of being a little bit more specific and intentional about letting people know. It's not a they should know who I am. It's, hey, welcome to the party.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not new, but I may be new to you, and that's okay. I don't mind that. I'm somebody new you can discover, but I'm not new to this.
Yeah. Well, there are some people that are watching this that are either at a undiscovered spot. They're at a I'm not sure what it looks like, and there are some people that are honestly sitting in somebody's choir stand right now, that have dreams beyond the pew and beyond what they've seen, because sometimes we are a product of all that we've seen. That's all.
Right. Right.
So as we end, how can you speak to them? What would you say to them, whatever age they are? Because I am one who does believe that just because society has certain age demographics that they go for, favor has no age limits.
Come on.
So I believe that can happen at any moment. So what would you say to anybody who's watching right now, just to encourage them?
Be mindful of the fact that we're in a new time. We're in a time, it's not as antiquated. Like the things that have been used as a measuring tool, as far as getting yourself out there and letting people know you exist, is changing rapidly. People are sometimes solely going online. So, as much as some people kind of resist it, it's kind of the way of the world now. If you have a gift, if you have a talent, if you have a call, a passion, put it out there so people know you exist. That will both hold you accountable, and two, have you consistently working on your craft, your gifts, your talent. Particularly to believers and folks who you're speaking to in terms of like, they don't know anything beyond the doors of the church or the choir loft. It's not a sin, and I hope I don't get pushed back from this, but it's not a sin to explore other things, other music, other genres, other art forms, because it's only gonna, even if you decide church is where I want to be, the gospel industry is what I want to do and have a career in, it can only expand you and grow you as an artist to learn and experience other genres. Even if it's something you don't necessarily want to do, it's not going to hurt you. And if you feel like it might just make your calling and your election sure. Stay in the word, stay on your knees, stay under a pastor, stay under sound teaching that can kind of guide you along, so you don't get swept away by this opinion, this teaching, that religion, this and that. That's where you are in life, and you're, you are trying to stay on that path. And probably lastly, don't look for any type of validation outside of yourself and God, period. Because the minute you start comparing and looking for validation and acceptance from outside of those sources, you headed down a hole that you might not find your way back out of.
Yeah. Well, and ultimately, to re-echo what you said, I believe that if we are going to be the best representative and really cause there to be influence in the world, then we can't be just lights influencing other lights.
That's right.
There is no way to be able to influence darkness if the light doesn't ever leave its comfort zone. It has to go out into other places to be able to do that. So I think you're a great example of someone that I know has done that. I would love to talk to you forever and always and all night, because I am so thrilled that the world nationally is getting ready to be introduced to you, even if through a characterization of someone else, but that the world is going to know you. I'm so proud of what you've done and your resilience and how you continue to persevere, even when it was very hard and difficult. So I'm really, 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 really excited that you get to do this. If I could jump high right now, I probably would. So I'm just really happy, but I am. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for talking to me tonight. Even though we were formal, but we've gone on tour buses together.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
But let everybody know how they can find you, how they can follow you, so that they can stay in touch with you.
Yes. Well, you can pretty much find me on most social media platforms. I'm on Facebook as myself, Angela Birchett. Instagram, same thing, at Angela Birchett, and I spell my last name Birchett. Just think the birch tree. I also have a website, which is angelabirchett.com. I keep it updated with, if you're in the New York City area and you want to come catch me performing somewhere, you can. If I'm on tour, I make sure I put that out. So if I come to a city near you, you can come check me out and hang out. Yeah, and that's the best way. Social media is the wave of the future. So you'll find me on the grams and the Facebooks and all those things.
Well, y'all go follow her and y'all stay tuned as we show a clip of the upcoming movie, The Clark.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Come on, girls, come on.
Y'all got gifts to make you stars, but I'm gonna make you stars for Jesus.
You want them to be the Jackson 5?
No, they better than the Jackson 5. You gonna sing for the Lord, or you gonna lay down for the devil? You didn't just sell songs. You sold your future. You sold your sister's future. All we ever did was what you wanted us to do. Did you ever ask us what we wanted?
Right, ladies, it's showtime.
She not gonna stay in this house like that.
You brought the sunshine in my life.
Just gotta be ready. You gotta be perfect.
Our album is number 20 on the chart.
You've been nominated for Best Soul Gospel Performer. These are Clark sisters. Grammy nominations and #1 album.
You came my
That's how it's done.
Thank you again for tuning in tonight. I really hope that you enjoyed our chat tonight, and make sure you support that movie when it comes out. If you would like to be one of the guests, or you would like to hear, or you know someone that I should be chatting with, then let me know. Go ahead and comment below or send us a message so that we can reach out to them and we can continue to bring you great conversations, because there are great people out there. I don't know all of them, but you might know them, and we would love to bring them to you. Have a great night. I'll see you again, same time, same place. Good night.